hooked one, I think. Really? Yeah. It is way too cold for turkey. Just shot that buck. Guys going to work. Welcome to urban hunting. Well, good morning. It's October 31st, Halloween. I love Halloween hunts. It's just one of my favorite. I prefer an afternoon Halloween hunt. But I'll take it when you have young kids that love to trick or treat. It becomes more important. So I'm in the stand this morning. Not exactly where I planned on being, but that's just part of the game when you're hunting, right? I could not find a great tree. I thought about actually sitting on the ground. I really did not want to sit in the exact spot where I shot my buck last year. But it's just such an awesome tree, so I snuck in. I have a camera about 60 yards down here over a mock scrape that I created. It's really hard to tell if it was actually hit at all. There's been a lot of rain last week, and I'm not sure, so I'll have to check it out before I leave. No wind this morning. It's absolutely calm. I actually did a little bit of rattling first thing, and I actually thought I had a deer coming in behind me here, but I never did get a good look. Blue jays were going crazy, so who knows. I'm sitting about 200 yards off the lake and right on the border private and public, so hoping to get some movement this morning, and we'll see what happens. I got some pigs behind me over here. I can hear them squealing. They're on private, but they sound like they're coming in closer, so we'll see if they make a move in here. But there's a ton of pig sign down below my stand, and I heard a bunch coming in this morning, so if anything else, maybe we'll get a look at a pig. You know, it's funny how things can change in a year in public. You know, if you remember from my last video, I ran into another hunter when I was coming out. He was driving along the beach, and you couldn't do that last year because the water was much higher up towards land, and you couldn't drive on the beach. There really was no beach. And access is, you know, key on public land. And coming in this morning about, you know, not probably 100 yards from here, there's a ladder stand now because you can access it and because you can drive a truck back here. Guys are going to be here, right? Last year, there wasn't a sign of anybody hunting back here but me. And that changes things, you know. Last year, I was scouting and found a ton of signs, big rubs, a couple scrapes, backed out and came in the next week. And that's when I killed my buck out of this stand. That morning at 9:30, I had a bunch of deer come through out of range, and I made the call at 10:30 in the morning to get down. I moved over to this stand, which is about 65 yards from where I was set up originally. And at 1 o'clock, buck I shot jumped the fence from private to public, and I shot him, and it's just different. Not saying I won't shoot a deer this year and here, but with access, different. Access better. I'll have to probably go a little bit deeper this year to find them. You know, saddle hunting has been a real learning experience for me this year, and every time I go out, I learn a little bit more. One of the things that I would recommend if you're getting into saddle hunting, or maybe you're in saddle hunting and you do this already, but get yourself a good pair of knee pads. I got a pair off Amazon. They're Ulta, I believe, and they were like $25 or something like that. But they are awesome for when you are leaning against the tree when you're saddle hunting. That's one of the positions that I find comfortable. But without the knee pads, it's not. So get yourself a pair of knee pads if you're gonna saddle hunt. Well, I think the theme this year is gonna be I thought I was alone. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but that's the other hunter with the ladder stand dumping bags of corn on the ground. Because I didn't see a feeder, but so that's probably gonna wrap up my hunt for the day, and I'll regroup and figure this place out. I always like a good challenge, you know. One of the things that I haven't really been able to do is bring you guys a ton of deer on camera, just because I honestly haven't seen a ton of deer since I moved to Texas. You know, other than the 5 or 6 deer I saw last year, the day I shot my buck, I probably have seen a handful of deer since I moved here back in 2017. And, you know, it's one of those things where it's a lot of land and the deer are here for sure, but it's not as concentrated as some of the other areas I've ever hunted. So when you do see a deer, again, last year I didn't see a ton of deer, but the only deer I had in range all season to shoot was that buck. The year before that, I didn't even have a deer in range. So anyhow, I'm gonna get down, I'm gonna grab my camera, and I'm gonna start to make my way out of here. Look for some sign too on the way out. I'm gonna loop back around, away from where this guy's dumping his corn. Well, I grabbed my camera. I got 83 pictures on it in 2 weeks, which is not bad. I'm assuming it's a lot of piggies, probably. There's just a lot of pig sign in here. I'm going to sneak my way around, hook around where this other hunter is this morning, and make my way out to the lake. See if I can pick up some fresh sign and just see what I can see. Nice ditch crossing, but no rubs or anything up in this area, but definitely worth making a note. So I'm heading out here. I'm walking along the beach, just kind of looking for sign. I found buck tracks. No doubt they're buck tracks. Same buck. 2 different spots, but heading in the same direction, coming away from the lake. So the lake's behind me over here, heading into this thick cover up here. Probably going to bed. And one is really fresh, and the other set is pretty fresh also, all heading in the same direction. So I'll have to think of what to do with that, but it could potentially be a spot where I set up very early, maybe one morning, and see if I can catch them coming back from getting a drink. I also might put a trail camera in here next week. So it's really thick up in here, a lot of deadfalls, plenty of spots for them to bed down. So we'll see, but it's a good sign.
Hey guys, just pulling up the trail cam photos and actually have a pretty good buck on camera that I'm taking a look at right now. That is one picture only of that deer, and it was at about 8:45 at night, so it was just a bit after dark. But it's a good buck. There's a couple other decent bucks maybe for next year, but this will be the buck that I'll be after. So good sign. Anxious to get back in there and do some more hunting and scouting.